Turn my music ha, 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 yeah.
I am your voice. So to every parent who dreams for their child, and every child who dreams for their future, I say these words to you tonight. I am with you, I will fight for you, and I will win for you.
Turn my music.
Hello everybody, welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we're tackling the amazing atheist, the internet's most popular atheist. But being most popular doesn't mean he's the smartest or the best video maker. I like the guy, he's a great speaker, he can run his videos very, very well, but sometimes he's off on a few things, and today that's the Electoral College. In his new video from yesterday called Abolish the Electoral College, he's gotten a few misrepresentations of the system, and he doesn't seem quite to understand why it's there. Let's take a look.
So today we're going to talk about the Electoral College and why it should be abolished. But I need to preface this by saying, fuck Hillary Clinton. I hate her guts, I don't want her as my president, and the results of this election should stand despite what any whiny liberals protesting in the streets or signing online petitions have to say about it.
Okay, we got a good start. I agree, fuck Hillary. And I would like to say on my part, I'm not saying this because I'm pro-Trump. I'm not pro-Electoral College just because of Trump. That's not the reason that I support the system. I think it represents the country more fair than the popular vote, but we'll get into that later. For now, we're going to both be coming from unbiased perspectives.
But in the long run, I think the Electoral College is an antiquated thing and the reasons for its existence are obsolete. The Founding Fathers of America created the Electoral College to protect us from what they called the tyranny of the majority. Now, I don't think you need a giant breakdown of what that means, but boiled down to its essence, it's the belief that we need a fail-safe to keep the people from electing someone that the establishment doesn't want in office.
Okay, here's where we start to get into misunderstanding of the system. You see, it's not just a fail-safe system. I mean, the reason we have electoral votes is to make sure that things don't go crazy from person-to-person vote, but it's also to represent each area of the country and to give all the states certain votes, even if they're smaller states. It gives everyone 3 base votes and then goes up from there by population. But essentially, it's so that the 2 little sections of the country, well, in this case, the 2 sections like California and New York don't pick the president every time. This system lets all the states have a word, and if the middle kind of takes over and bands together, which is what happened this year, then they can have a voice to pick their candidate.
As the voters are viewed as too stupid to really make the decision for themselves. But here you have Donald Trump, a guy who the establishment absolutely fucking despised, who won because of the Electoral College, not in spite of it.
That's an interesting point. He did win because of the Electoral College, but like many have said, and I actually said this last week, and then Trump said this yesterday, which I thought was interesting. He tweeted that, if it was a popular vote election, he would have tried to win the popular vote. He could have campaigned just in California, just in New York, more in Florida and Texas, the 4 biggest ones, but he decided to go state by state because it's a state by state system. I think what TJ is not really understanding is that the USA is the United States of America. It's not a giant democracy. It's actually 50 small excuse me. It's actually 50 small little countries banded together. So that's why it goes state by state, and that's why everyone gets a voice and is guaranteed a voice in the Electoral College, because otherwise more popular states, the massive states, could take over the whole election every year.
So, on that level, it's not really working. Another concept behind the tyranny of the majority is that, the dairy farmer from Wisconsin or the factory worker from Ohio doesn't necessarily want the huge throngs of people from New York and LA drowning out his voice when they live lives totally different from his own.
Yes, this is a good point. This is why the middle states have their certain number of votes and why we have electoral system, because each state, this country is huge. You know, California is a whole other world than Idaho or Michigan. New York State is a totally different vibe than if you went to Oklahoma or Colorado. I mean, each state is like its own country. We're a giant country, so it makes sense that we're United States and not just one big republic.
To which I say, that's what the Senate is for. That's what the House of Representatives is for. You need people in government to represent the interest of your region, and I understand that. But when it comes to deciding who the president is, it should be one person, one vote. Because now we've created a situation where the people who live in the cities are getting crushed by country dwellers because country dwellers' votes just count for more.
Okay, there's some truth to that. There are more valuable votes in swing states and in country states. I'm not going to deny that, but there's reasons for that, and it's like I said before. Each state has certain representation, and then also something that a lot of people don't realize is you can move if you're that concerned about your votes. Like if you're in California or New York, you can move to another state that has a more popular or a more potent vote, like a swing state like Florida or Ohio, for example. You're allowed to do that. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to be easy or that's cool, but if you're that concerned about this situation, that's what you do. You don't try to change the system to fit your needs. You play the system, and that's what Trump did too.
We need to stop looking at this in terms of which party is benefited and start asking ourselves, what is fair? The tyranny of the majority at this point in history is being exacerbated by giving rural people too disproportionate of a say. You know what I think is fair when we're electing the person who gets to lead all of us? One person, one vote. No one's vote should count for more than mine because they live in bumfuck nowhere.
Okay, I get why he would think that. Again, the votes seem more valuable in swing states and in smaller states where your vote matters more. I mean, I'm not saying that's true, but again, you got to go back to the concept of the United States of America, right? It's not one big country. It's more like 50 small little countries. So if you're in Florida and it's a swing state, you're going to have that more of a say in your vote because it goes back and forth. But if you're in California, like me, that it's just going to go Democrat every time. I still vote. And actually, this is another point I wanted to make. Your vote still matters. Your vote still matters in a big state. If you really want to say your vote is a throwaway vote, sure, that's a good perspective. But there's also the perspective of, they still count Republican votes. They still count both sides. So one day your state could change. It's not saying it will never change ever. So you have to keep voting, even if you are the minority in your state, because eventually, if the tides do turn, it's those small votes that start building up and swinging things to another direction.
And guess what? No one's vote should count for less than mine because they live in bumfuck nowhere either. We all have to coexist as a country, and so we should all have exactly equal say as to who will be the leader of all of us. To me, that is the essence of fairness. You could not design a fairer system than one person, one vote. The Electoral College should be abolished. I've yet to hear a single compelling argument why not.
Well, I'm hoping that something in this video will strike a chord, TJ. I don't think he's really going to hear it, but maybe someone else that's watching or watched both videos will see. There is a compelling argument. Each state, essentially, I said this in another video about the election, essentially the U.S. president election is like 50 mini elections, right? It's not one big election. It's 50 mini elections, and then each state bands their votes together into one complete package. They choose to do that. We've all voted on this. This was written by the founders and enforced and gone on for this 240 years our country's been together. And essentially, I think TJ might have to see it differently, and others who think this way, they just have to see that it's really 50 mini elections that pot their votes together, and then we see how it shakes down at the end.
Let's do it. Let's call for this. Let's not attack President Trump. Let's petition him to lead the charge. Sure, he probably lost the popular vote, but that doesn't mean he can't be instrumental in changing the system.
Again, he lost the popular vote because he wasn't trying to win the popular vote. I'm very certain that he would have changed his campaign strategy if it was a popular vote system, if he needed to win the popular vote, but he didn't need to win the popular vote. And that's kind of this argument. I know TJ's not going there. He's not a pro-Hillary argument. He's more misunderstanding of the reason and the history of the Electoral College. But when people say this stuff, oh, you know, Trump just won the Electoral College, but he didn't win the popular vote. I thought of a good analogy for this, and basically it's like a football analogy. It's like saying a football team got more yards, but they didn't score enough points to beat the other team. So if they got more yards, but they didn't get more points, that's the kind of argument we're dealing with right now. It's not about the yards, guys. It's not about individual votes in this system. It's about the points. It's about the state by state. Each state has a points. You could actually, if you want to go further with the analogy, you could call each state in our election kind of a touchdown, you know, and then other states that are bigger are worth more points or more valuable touchdowns. But still, each state has a base touchdown rate, which is the 3 votes, and then they add more from there. And that's about it for today's video. Yeah, I think TJ kind of just misunderstood things. Not so bad. It's still a decent video. I know he just does a voiceover, but again, I'm not trying to kiss his ass, but he's a great speaker. He's got great other topics about atheism. I actually used to watch some of his stuff when I started on YouTube and didn't really get into the atheism thing. But yeah, nonetheless, thanks for watching. I'm out of breath. I've been going live and trying to do more, so thanks for watching, guys. What do you think about Electoral College? Comment below if you think it should be abolished, if you think it should be kept. Tell me what you think. Thanks for watching. It's been a great day. It's been a great week. Hope you have a wonderful time. Good night. One more announcement before we go. Check out the link in the description to our new No Bullshit t-shirts. Help support the show by wearing a cool, trendy, nice logo tee. It looks cool, it feels cool, and who doesn't want to have an animal pooping on their shirt? Alright guys, have a great day. Talk to y'all soon. Peace. I'm out of here.